Well, we just finished week 6, and now the Buffalo Bills do not play this week, which means that we can just sit back, relax, and enjoy week 7. Enjoy the NFL. Just as I told you after week 1, I would really prefer if the Buffalo Bills would just move like they're supposed to because, our owner is threatening it, but it's not actually going to happen. So, I mean, there's no concern there. But also, if it did happen, then I wouldn't be liable to feel any emotion about the NFL anymore, which would make it so much more enjoyable for me. So week 7's great because I don't have to worry about anything, and I'm ready to just sit back and enjoy the football in front of me. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, Bills bye week is usually my favorite week of football, because that means the Bills can't lose. But the Bills lost going into it, so it's just gonna be a week of feeling like a loss. But that means that I have to pick one game to really get emotionally invested in, so that way I feel like really good or really bad the whole week, no matter what. Uh, because I live for that. I live for that.
So I'm guessing you went with Jets Patriots?
Shut up.
Fine. Okay. What's the second best game? Carolina, New York Giants.
No, I'm going to tell you. The game that I
Fine.
picked to really get invested in is Lions at Rams.
I don't. Okay, well, I can't wait to hear about that. But let's start with Thursday night, where Denver's going to Cleveland.
Yeah, Cleveland's really banged up. Case Keenum got announced as the starting quarterback for this game today, which is wild. They're not going to have Nick Chubb, not going to have Kareem Hunt, not going to have Baker Mayfield, uh, not going to have JOK. Offensive line's banged up. I have Denver winning this one in an upset.
Yeah,
I,
no.
I it's like I feel like it's obvious that you should pick Denver here.
At least for
But
our situation.
I mean, like the Browns do have talent and depth. I mean, you praised them all offseason about being the most depth, having the most depth in the league. It's just Denver's defense is still really good. I don't know if Case Keenum can carve them up with just Donovan Peoples-Jones and Demetric Felton and Rashard Higgins.
It's a name I completely forgot to mention on our recap. Why did you not yell at me for not mentioning Demetric Felton?
He just popped into my head right now.
Well, you should have cursed me. He actually could be the number 3 guy there. Yes. I'm completely on the same page with you. We have to pick upsets, and if there's a game where it's like, okay, a team's favored and like everything's going against them, how would I not pick against them? So yeah, same exact reasons you gave. The thing that's helping Cleveland is that they're the home team, but Denver's not nearly as in a dire situation as Cleveland is. And the scary thing here is that Cleveland, after week 7, is going to be below 500 if they lose to Denver, which is scary to me. So after this game, really how probably end up feeling is that, either I was right in picking Denver in an upset, which will be good, or it'll be that, okay, this is good because I really don't like the idea of Cleveland having 4 losses at the week 7 mark already. That's pretty scary considering what I thought they could be before the season. Yeah, and it's honestly not much more complex than that. So do you have anything more you want to add to that game?
Just that Demetric Felton's playing running back, so he can't be the third receiver for the Browns. That's just
Listen. That wasn't me saying, like, this week specifically, he needs to be the third receiver. I'm saying if they want to move along in the future, I don't think it's ridiculous to think that he could be the third receiver.
Oh, okay.
Now, actually, probably the game that I'll, in this 1 o'clock window, sometimes I'll just have, whatever game on, not whatever game on, just like red zone on or whatever for the 1 o'clock window when the Bills aren't playing. But man, this one's eyeballing me too much to maybe not actually take a look at. And it's Kansas City going to Tennessee. And I think the strangest part of this one is that, according to what I looked at, Kansas City is the favorites in this going to Tennessee, and it's really not that close of a spread either.
Yeah, that's what I noticed as well. Looking at it, like KC was 3.5 point favorites or something like that, or even more than that. Uh, going to Tennessee, and I don't know about that. Just with these turnover woes they had, granted, it could be the game that they snap that and get over it. But also, Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelce are banged up. I believe they're at least both questionable right now. Uh, Going into the week, but I mean, coaches just designate every single guy as questionable and then have that change. But have both those guys being banged up is a concern. That you got to focus on. Mahomes and his turnover issues as of late. And also the Titans just being able to have their offense be ball control. And that's what Mike Vrabel wants to live and die by, is just controlling the clock. And we will take it to OT if we have to, because we like our odds of winning a coin flip and then just running the ball down your throat. And if there's anything the Chiefs have not been fantastic in outside of their turnover issues, it's been their defense. And I mean, I feel a little crazy saying this, but give me the Titans over the Chiefs here at home and an upset.
No, yeah, we're agreeing again. Honestly, I would pick whichever team. This is another game where I feel like I wouldn't feel ridiculous picking either team. So I mean, Titans are the home team. Kansas City's not looking too good, and especially because the defense hasn't looked great. The Titans don't even have to do anything complex on offense. They don't like getting complex on offense, and they won't need to against the Chiefs to move the ball. If Kansas City turns the ball over a few times, as they've been doing in the past few games, I don't see any reason that the Titans won't be able to keep up scoring wise. So, yeah, no, I got the Titans as well. It's not even more complicated than that.
One thing I'd add on is Tennessee's secondary's banged up, not having Caleb Farley out for the season, which sucks. Because I really liked Caleb Farley, and seeing him go out, especially the game against our favorite team, is bad. I never want that to happen. But weak secondary for Tennessee could just increase KC's ability for quick scores. So there's that.
Yep. Washington at Green Bay.
This would be a really fun game if it was like 1988 and this was occurring in like late December. And these two, I mean, just a good offense. And then if like I shouldn't have said that. This is me like thinking of the football team's defense is like the perfect what it should be, and it's not. I mean, I'm going with Bay here. The offense has just been rolling over teams as of late, and Washington's defense can't like stop a bloody nose. And the mediocre offense is just not doing it either. Like, if you're going to have a defense it's a middling defense, but it's performing for the talent that it has. If you're going to have a unit like that, you need to have an offense that can make up for it, and they don't, because their whole game plan was to have the defense make up for the offense. So, yeah, Green Bay team that's excellent on offense, okay on defense. Yeah, give me them all day.
I feel like this is honestly kind of the same matchup we literally just saw last week with where Washington and Chicago are at. So it feels like the same game. And this week the Packers are the home team. Yeah, I'm plenty confident taking the Packers. I don't know how much. I think they're favored by too much for them to be my lock this week. So this can't be my lock. But yeah, I'm going with the Packers. And honestly, I don't feel like right now we're entirely on the same page with all of our picks so far. So let's see if you disagree with me with Cincinnati at Baltimore.
Well, I'll just say outright, I'm picking Baltimore in this one. This was the last game I picked. I went through and picked all the games. This is the last one that was left blank because I really, really badly wanted to pick Cincinnati. But I feel like it would be a disservice to the Ravens to not pick them after what they did to the Chargers last week. The Bengals defense, I would say, is like no, because they don't even have the same amount of talent that LA has on their defense. LA's defense just isn't schemed well. It isn't like great at stopping the run. But Derwin James and Joey Bosa, I mean, that's better than like Trey Hendrickson and Tyler Shelvin. Oh, Jesse Bates.
I was gonna say you're gonna do the same position.
Jesse Bates third. Yeah, I wanted to get a Tyler Shelvin jab in there, so sorry.
Fair enough.
But yeah, it's a defense that I would say is like a step or two down from what the Chargers is talent-wise and scheme-wise. Yeah, I'm going Baltimore here, but I would be very glad to be wrong because not only does it help the Bills in standings, but the Chargers would be, or not the Chargers, jeez, the Bengals, man. Wow. Wow.
Okay. We're 4 games in, and we are still completely on the same page, which I don't think has happened up to this point. Yeah, I'm picking Baltimore too. Cincinnati, you're uptrending in the right direction, but Baltimore's a complete team like we talked about, and Cincinnati is not a complete team. We're completely putting it on the offense seemingly. And if we've got a team where I trust both sides of the ball and a team where I trust one side of the ball, I'm almost always going to pick the team that I trust both sides of the ball with, and they're also the home team, so I got to go Baltimore. Carolina at the Giants.
This would be an interesting game if the Giants were healthy, which they are not.
Yeah.
And missing, like, they might be missing Kadarius Toney too. The only receiver that I don't think has any health and like worry going into this week is Sterling Shepard. Which, I mean, Sterling Shepard's good. He can't be your only receiver though. And Saquon, I don't think is going to be playing, and Daniel Jones still is not 100% healthy. It is just so obvious that he's hurt. Like he doesn't play that well, but he's still hurt. And Carolina's defense, I think Gilmore gets off the pup this week. It might be next week. I know within the next 2 weeks he gets off the pup. But if it's this week, yeah, I mean it's gonna be tough. Carolina's defense is still a good unit, especially if they're going up against a team like the Giants. So give me the Panthers here in a win at the Meadowlands.
Carolina has played against the the first 3 weeks of the season, we'd say they played against really bad football teams, and then against they played some better teams and they weren't able to do as much. But I'd say getting back to this game is kind of them getting to play against a bad team once again in the New York Giants. I'd want to give them the win on that alone. Then accompany it with the fact that this team is still beaten down to a pulp. No, I'm not picking the Giants in this one, and I don't even really have to think about it that long. I'm going Carolina. Also, talking about Saquon, and then also, since we're here, I'll mention Christian McCaffrey and how prior to the season you said I was worrying too much about injuries with these guys. Neither of them have done much of anything this year. And I know that's because McCaffrey got injured again, but that's partially the reason why. Once you get injured once, they do have the ability to compound. Even if we don't want them to compound, they can pile onto each other, and it hasn't looked too great for either of them.
Yeah, and Christian McCaffrey got paid too, which is tough, but he got paid, so there's that. He got paid.
Okay, let's see if we can finally disagree on this one.
If we do,
I don't really. Okay, Atlanta at Miami.
Yeah, I thought every team that plays in London gets a bye week after. I guess that's not the case because Miami's coming back from across the pond, and they're playing. Which I don't know how rough that can be. I don't think it's worse than playing on like a short week. But not getting the bye has to hurt. I don't know if your circadian rhythms are gonna get messed up, and that's why Tua is not gonna be playing as well. But Atlanta going there, another team that played across the pond, coming back, got the bye week. They'll come out of the bye week. They've had 2 weeks to plan against Miami. Miami lost to Jacksonville. I'm going with the Falcons here to beat the Dolphins at Miami.
Yeah, I'm not about to pick the team that just lost to the Jaguars. So this is a pretty simple decision in that regard. I wouldn't feel right doing that. I think this game could be close, but really it comes down to that. If you lose to the Jaguars, I'm not going to pick you the next week. You're going to have to show me something special. I'm going Atlanta too, so still on the same page. Come on, pick Zach Wilson against Bill Belichick. New York Jets at New England.
I did it the first time. I can't do it again. I did it the first time. I can't do it again. This one isn't even home. Just seeing Zach Wilson get chewed up and spit out by Big Bill Belichick the first time they played. There's no way I'm picking him to beat him again. Uh, and the Patriots have been competitive in every single one of their games. So I'm not going to say that they're going to lose to the Jets. I did the first time as like a meme of sorts. That like, oh, Zach Wilson, he's gonna be the rookie QB that figures out Belichick. I'm not gonna double down on that joke. The Patriots are gonna handle business at home against the Jets.
I'm looking. Okay, I'll say. Yeah, we're still on the same page. I'm picking New England too, and I mean I made the joke before that, so I think it was pretty obvious that I was gonna go with New England though. I'm looking at the rest of this. I don't know if we're about to disagree on a game this week, and that's gonna be pretty funny if we actually pick all these games exactly the same. I don't know. Maybe this one, Philadelphia at Las Vegas.
Yeah, man, this is a little strange one going into it because I'm still trying to figure the Raiders out without John Gruden there. I do think that they're better without him. I think the offense might be a little bit less complex without him throwing in 35 new plays into the playbook every week.
Not every week. Saturday night.
Saturday night. Maybe not having that extra stress on Derek Carr, which has to be weird for him now because I think him and John Gruden are neighbors. They live next door to each other in Vegas. They have houses next to each other, so that's But yeah, getting a win against Vegas. But like I said in the recap of last week, Philly hasn't been no slouch, man. They've been staying competitive in all their games.
Okay.
And if Nick Sirianni can figure out to not run a screen pass every play, I got the Eagles beating the Raiders in Vegas.
Okay. I'm seeing. So you somehow telepathically knew that we were basically going to be on the exact same track this week, and you're like, oh, okay, I can't let that happen. And then you were like, I'm going to pick the Eagles just to screw with them.
Well, I don't know what other game you can pick after this one that'd be considered an upset.
Well, I guess it's hard. It's hard because we'll get to it. I'm picking Vegas, and I'm actually locking them this week. So,
I want it. Yes. Thank you for that.
Yeah, there's actually a bunch of games this week that aren't even eligible to be our locks. So, yeah, no, with what I saw from Vegas last week, I was pretty excited. Vegas's losses because of I'm blaming the second one on John Gruden, and what was the first one again? Who did they lose to the first time? I'm blanking. But it wasn't like just some terrible loss, if I'm remembering correctly. And they've looked good in the rest of their games. 4-2 is a good record, more like 4-1 from games I'm actually bothering to count for them. And I know Philadelphia hasn't looked too bad, but I don't think that they're near the level of what the Raiders have been which is really being able to beat teams like Baltimore and stuff. I don't think Philadelphia can do that. The Raiders are also the home team. I don't think Philadelphia is going to go to Las Vegas and win this one. I have trouble seeing that.
I mean, I'll say it'll probably jinx it me saying this, but I looked back at this before I picked this because I had a feeling. Every single time I've picked the Eagles to win, they've won. And I picked the Eagles to win in every single one of their wins they've had.
Okay. Have you picked them to win in losses they've had?
I haven't picked them to win losses. I have a perfect record for the Eagles.
Okay. Interesting. All right.
That'll probably end here now, though. So.
Okay. I guess. Detroit at LAR.
This is a game that I'm getting really invested in this week. Just because the storyline, I love Dan Campbell. Him calling out Jared Goff is amazing, and I love it. That's going to get him fired up. And Sean McVay coming out and making this apology of like how I should have handled trading Jared Goff better. And because the whole situation, they didn't inform him about it, and Jared Goff seems to be in the gutter. At least that's how it seems. When it comes to like feeling about football, maybe just with these losses and how his two head coaches that he's had in the NFL are like now treating him. So maybe he'll be playing with some fire. I don't think they can beat the Rams though. Yeah, the Rams are just a little too much for that Lions defense, and then Aaron Donald. I think just if you would put him out there alone against the 11 fielded players for the Lions on offense, I still think that he could like hold them to a 3-and-out at least once. Um, so yeah, I mean it'd be great if the Lions won. I would freak out, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Rams by 20. Chicago at Tampa Bay.
Chicago at Tampa Bay. Yeah, this is like your NFC divisional round game or something like that in your predictions early in the offseason, wasn't it?
Uh yeah, but I'm definitely feeling different about how I felt about how it could shape up, after watching Justin Fields, throw two imaginary interceptions, because there were flags on the field, but apparently the refs forgot to throw flags both times there were free plays.
Yeah. I mean, Brady has just been cooking since that Rams loss. I mean, I think you're right when you said that he was looking ahead of that Patriots game and how he was like, I do not care about this game. I'm taking 2 weeks to prepare for that one. Basically had a bye going into the Rams one. Rams game. Yeah, I don't think he's going to lose to Chicago at home. He's not going to let that happen. So yeah, and Justin Fields has looked better. I think the more and more like he's not going to look good against this defense that the Buccaneers have. He's not. But Matt Nagy making him the full-time starter, committing him to that, which I don't think that was his decision to commit to that. I'm pretty sure Ryan Pace in that front office forced his hand to commit to that. But having that committal to it, it's got to give him some confidence that he did not have prior to it. So maybe that does something.
I don't think the Bears have much of a chance in this game. The Bucs have been flying high, looking perfect. And yeah, as you said, I haven't really been looking back on it, but yeah, the only time they've looked weak is probably because they were looking ahead. So without that being in their like in front of them, that's out of the way. They've gotten that done. I don't know how many teams we're gonna have beating the Buccaneers just straight up when we're gonna say that they're gonna before the game happens. So yeah, I'm going with Tampa Bay here, and I'm gonna need to see more from Justin Fields to pick the Bears against good teams, because that it hasn't been too impressive with what they've been doing on the offensive side of the ball, even though before the season it's really hyping them up a lot. Houston at Arizona.
Yeah, I'm taking Arizona to win this one.
Yeah. After what we saw from Houston last week, even though we gave the Colts some credit, Arizona is the best team in football right now because they're the only team that hasn't lost a game. Definitely not even thinking about this one for a second. Arizona is also the home team. That's not going to help it anymore. Yeah. The only thing I want to say about this game is that Arizona, you're playing against a bad team. Don't let this be close. Win by 17 at least. If you win by like 10, okay, but man, if this is anywhere, if this is like if this is an 8-point game or less at the end of the game, hugely disappointing. Win this game by 17. Show that you're actually the best team in the league, and continue Kyler Murray on his MVP track.
Yeah, that's the biggest concern about the Cardinals for us going into the season. I mean, I think I just like had a joke when I was predicting like every team's record. It's like, yeah, the Cardinals are going to lose to the Texans because they're bound to lose to just some bad team because they always play to their competition, which they really haven't this season. I mean, they played to the Jags, which yeah, they might actually. You know what? They actually might.
And the Niners, who have been a lot less impressive than we thought they would be. Yeah. They really played them fairly close too.
This game could be a lot more interesting than it should be because the
Minnesota should have beat them.
Oh no, Minnesota's bad. No.
Yeah, I mean, come on, run away from the Texans. Don't let this be close, Arizona. That's what we got to say. Then Indianapolis at San Francisco is our Sunday night game, which is slightly more interesting considering Indianapolis may actually be, trending in the right direction past like the awful point in their season. And if they get a win here, they're not out of it. if they get a loss here, they may be out of it already, even after week 7.
Yeah, just the two teams that really haven't been performing to how we think they should have. No, the Colts have been performing how we think they would be, but just talent level, the Colts are not where they should because of their schedule. The Niners haven't been where they have been because of injuries. So
Just been underperforming in general. Even with
Yeah.
even with the injuries, I think that the Niners should be better than they've been.
It's two teams that are really trying to get their footing and figure out who they are and what their like goal is going to be for the season. And I think this game is going to be a good benchmark for both of them to figure out what from this point forward is like what's this team's identity. And San Fran being the home team, Trey Lance starting. I just really like San Fran. I mean, I had them coming out of the NFC for the Super Bowl. I have them winning this one, and I'm locking them in to win as well.
Wow. Huh. I don't know if I'd feel that. I definitely don't feel that confident about it. Yeah, no, just both these teams playing, with like not being as good as they should be in the win-loss department. You have to play who's on your schedule, and that's been tough for each of these teams, I think. But they both feel like the quality of their rosters, just if you didn't know who they were playing, it feels like they should be at better spots than they are at this point. And I still feel like since each team has been underperforming, it's hard to tell. It's hard to tell when you got two underperforming teams which ones are underperforming more. So who did I think was better before the season started? I thought San Francisco was better before the season started, and they're the home team here. I'm going to take them, but I'm definitely not feeling as confident as you are in terms of saying that I'm going to lock them for the week.
Hey, man, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Lock Vegas instead. And then this is our fun one because it's our favorite team to make predictions about. New Orleans at Seattle.
Now, if I've counted right, you only have 2 upsets so far, don't you?
Do I?
I believe so. So that means that you're picking the upset in this one. I don't know if we looked at the same odds, but I think you might have picked the opposite team for me then. New Orleans has been a wild card the whole season, and by wild card I mean the most predictable wild card ever because it's going up and down and up and down and up and down.
It's not predictable this week though. The bye throws it off.
Yes,
we don't know.
We don't know what Jameis is going to do. We don't know if the bye absorbed the bad week that he was supposed to have,
exactly,
or if it just carried the bad week over this one.
Exactly.
Seahawks, on the other hand, I mean, we kind of know who they are after like a game and a half of.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter
experience.
who that. Listen. You can stop talking about the Seahawks. It's entirely reliant.
The other team. I still have to give analysis to the other team.
No, you don't. When you're talking about the Saints, you do not need to talk about the team they're playing. You need to figure out if it's a good week or a bad week for them. That's all that matters.
Well, if you're going with the upset here, and I don't know if we looked at the same odds, but I believe the upset would be picking Seattle. So our two philosophies on what this bye week is going to do are different then. Because I think the bye week absorbed the bad week. And I think Jameis Winston and the Saints are going to win in Seattle.
Okay. I will say, I just was making the joke about not analyzing it. Yeah, no, I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if they won week 1. So the week win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. Should this be a win now? Or did the bye week pass off the win and now it should be a loss? I don't know. I wish I could tell which way it was going to go because, they're actually the most predictable team in the NFL. But with this, it screws everything up. And what I ended up coming back to is like, how has this game looked historically? The Saints always go to Seattle, like our entire lives, and they always lose in Seattle. So if there's a reason that it goes one way or the other, if it kicks off like their hot and cold streak again, and that was with Drew Brees at like starting at quarterback, and like he was going up against Russell Wilson, who for the majority of that time was a lot less experienced than he was. I mean, if they were going up against each other now, it would be a little different. Is to say Russell Wilson's almost been gotten up to the experience of Drew Brees, but I mean, in terms of just how long he's been in the league, I mean, he's not actually touching him years wise, but just he's been in the league so long that it can't be that different in terms of just having a vet presence for the team. But now it's two new guys, and how has the series played out when New Orleans has went up to Seattle? New Orleans has had almost zero success going up to Seattle, and I just feel like that's got to continue. Really, I not for any reason, because, like I said, the only thing that actually matters in this game is whether the streak continues positively for New Orleans, and it's based off like whether it's an odd or even week, or whether it's on off, whichever one of those two things is. It is. That's actually what matters. But just because of history, I'm going to be a student of history, and I'm going to pick Seattle for my upset here this week. And I am so sad that we really only have one disagreement. I mean, I know it's two games we're picking against each. Yes, we're picking against each other. But if we didn't need to pick upsets, do you think it would have been two disagreements?
Oh, I still would have picked Philadelphia.
You still would have picked Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. We got two disagreements, but yeah, I don't know. I may have picked New Orleans. I didn't need the third upset.
Hey, I just can't believe that a Florida State Seminole like you is gonna pick against Jameis Winston.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Really, my bad. I didn't mean to. So since we missed it in the recap, you want to just go over quickly where we're sitting with everything, really run through it quick. Give me how you did last week in terms of all three of our categories, and then where you sit overall in all those categories as well.
Yes, last week I went 9-5. I went 3-3 in my upsets, and I lost my lock.
Okay. Who was your lock last week?
Denver to beat Vegas.
Wow. Okay, last week I went 8-6. I went 1-2 in my upsets, and I lost my lock as well. So, sorry, what did you say your overall record for last week was?
My overall record now is 59-35.
I am 63-31. 59-35.
Yeah.
Is that okay? I'll accept that. I don't want to do math now.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm 63-31 though, so I'm a little bit ahead of you. And what all of those can be attributed to you picking against the Buffalo Bills.
Yeah.
Great, that's what I love to hear. It's always an important thing for us to distinguish. Yeah. What is going to make you look stupid this week?
I mean, if San Fran can't keep up with Indy, because that won't just make me look stupid for this week. It'll make me look stupid for the whole off season. Just how much I hyped him up and like had him going to the Super Bowl and everything.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's too bad. If I'm not feeling too bad about the upsets with the Denver Cleveland game or the Kansas City Tennessee game. It's really only going to make me look dumb if this is an on week for New Orleans. But even if it's an on week for New Orleans, like that doesn't make me feel too bad. I think I'm going to be most disappointed by this week is if Arizona keeps the game close against Houston. And the thing that I would be very excited to see this week, because I really don't feel, I'm trying to point out a few more things because I don't feel like there's a ton that's going to make me feel dumb this week. One other thing I would love to see, like we mentioned before, is Cincinnati going to Baltimore and winning. That would be absolutely tremendous for the weekend to just be like, what's going on?
Yeah.
You all set?
Yeah, I think we can cut this here.